What's up guys? Today in this video we will look at the course add form which will be able to interact with the API which we had created in the last Sunday's live. For those who have not seen that video, you can click on the link below in the description and you will be able to see the entire API development for the course add. And today I will basically run you through the code which I added in React so that the form is able to handle that API and add a course. Okay. In the database, you can see I have added one. So the form is actually working. I will show you the code and then we will look at it in action. So the first thing is the URL is course add, which means we'll go into pages, inside course, add index.tsx. Inside index.tsx, it's only using the layout to show the title, which is over here in the tab. Then we have this is the page thingy, and then we have the form. If you are aware, we have always kept the same structure where the form is the only component. The form is the independent component which is responsible for the creation. So let's see the form. Okay, inside the form, first of all, we have the markup where we have the form, we have name and the description. These are the two fields along with the submit button. And if you see, that's what we have in here. We have basic validation. We have those validations using the yup library. So the Formik component or the Formik forms are used to create the form, and hence you can see Formik in here. And these are the initial values. Name and description is set to empty when the component is loaded. On submit, I am calling the handle submit function. We'll go over there in a bit. And the validation is done using this schema, which is my story create schema. Let's go into the schema and see what we are doing over here. So we are using yup, as I told you. We are expecting string. Name is required, minimum 3. Description is a string, it is required, and minimum 5. So the validation is done, and then based on the format, we pass these three things. We have our first label, which is course name. Then we have the input to handle that. You can see we have used handle change and handle blur from here, and the values are obviously required. I have this component which will show error from the server if there are any validation error. For example, if I get a status code of 422. Okay. I have a text area which is handling the description, and then finally the button. Now the form submit, on submit is this function. Okay, on handle submit, what am I doing? I have a course service and I'm sending the values to the save course function. The save course function is obviously using auth service to get the auth date headers, because we are going to make an XUS call as an authenticated user. So those bearer tokens are required, which we are getting from the cookies over here, right? You can quickly see that. I'm getting the cookie.get token storage key, right? And I'm sending this header. That header is added here. I'm making an XUS call, URL service.course add. That is the URL where that API call will be made. Okay, so this is the URL. This is the data coming to save course from the form submit. Okay, and this is the header. If I get a 201 from my API, then I'm returning the result. Now inside the handle submit, if I get a 422, okay, then I am setting the errors. If I'm getting a 201, which means it was a success, I am resetting the form like so, and then taking the user back to the dashboard. That's all there to is, correct? So let me quickly go through this particular component again. So we have router, we used it for router push, otherwise it was not required. Okay, handle submit is the function which is actually getting triggered when the form is submitted over here. We have mentioned it. Initial values, we set it to empty. Validation schema, I showed you these are the two rules. Okay. And then we have the form. Form has two fields. One is the name. Type is wrong. This is going to be type text. Okay. And placeholder is fine. I have text area. Okay. These two are validation messages. They show the validation message when yup validation is done or even a server side validation is done. So if you see that these red things are coming because of that component. Okay. And yeah, that's about it. Now let me refresh this page and let's add learn Python from start. This course will teach you how to become a pro in Python. We are going to cover. So yeah, so just jump right in. Now if I save, you can see I'm redirected to my dashboard, and in my database I have one more entry. Now that our form to create a new course is complete, let's look at how I can list the courses which I have created, because I need to see the list and then at some point we'll be able to activate this course, right? So let's get started with that. Inside our course controller, if you see, we had the latest courses, which is basically a list. This is not where I can see a list of my courses which needs to be looked at. So we will create a new API. Let's just name it my courses. So this is the URL that we are looking at. Let me quickly create a test for this as well. And a little bit of bootstrapping. Let me open up a few tests because I'll steal some piece of code from here. Okay, that was not the one actually. Create course, and let's steal this. Okay, the basic one is already in place, which is it should not be for anonymous user. Now the next thing which I need to do is, let's just say for the sake of ease, we are not going to paginate the data right now, because we will assume that it's not going to be a huge list of things. Okay, we will have two keys coming in the response. One is the set of unpublished courses that I have, and the other one will be the set of published courses that I have. So now we can decide to either do it inside tabs or maybe one below the other, but the API will definitely not change. So what we are saying, so our test name is that it gives published and unpublished courses. Okay, so the basic thing is in place, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say assert JSON we are going to dump and test. But basically what I want to do is I want to say it has data dot published and unpublished. These two keys should be present. Okay, let's see, it will definitely fail because this doesn't exist. So now course controller, what method are we expecting? My courses, obviously this can't be method, So my courses is this. Now we want to get courses, oops, course query where it should be user ID. So user underscore ID is auth ID, I think. For now we'll just get all. So this is for this particular user, and we are saying right now we are expecting not more than maybe 20 or 30, something like that. So now I can have published equals courses, not each function. No. So each, rather I'll have filter. I don't know. Will that work? Course. No, that's JavaScript. Let me go the traditional way. Return course. I think it's is active. Yes, is active equals 1. Okay. And so that's published. Can I somehow not do it twice? I can't. I don't think so. So courses dot filter. Right. That's 1 and unpublished. Okay. And then I'll do return response. It's going to be an array 200. Okay, like so. And now it should pass. Actually, no, it didn't. Why? It says published does not exist. Data dot published. Data dot published doesn't exist. That's a bit interesting because now it should have. Okay, it is failing somewhere. Let me see what is the error. Undefined property auth manager ID. Okay, so what is happening is auth what do we have in here? Auth. I typically use the facade, so I'm not very familiar with this. Let me do one thing now. Auth user ID. This is definitely going to work, that I know. But does it import auth? Yes, it does. So fine. Now it should work. It does. Which means now even the tests are going to pass. Why? But obviously it doesn't do anything more than that, which is a problem because we are not testing whether there is data. But again, we haven't created, so we will have one more test. Or maybe not. I'm thinking has takes a count, right? Yes, it does. So I can actually do that, which is, let's just say we have course factory. Let me see course factory. What we have done, we have one inactive and one active. So what I can do is inactive create, okay, active create one 1. Will this pass? It doesn't. It says that publish doesn't have the expected size. Okay, that's interesting. Inactive, active is 1. ACTIVE. Right. So what happened? Let me do a die dump of courses all to array maybe. In this test, I made some mistake. Oh yes, course like this. Right. So we have one inactive course and one active course, which is fine. But then this is interesting. I expected that to happen, but it didn't. So now let's try doing a dump. Okay, I'm not going to edit this. I want you to see what's coming up. Okay. Oh yes, I get that point. What is happening is I created the videos without passing the user ID, so it created for some other user. That's fine. I'll just change that problem with the logic that I had. Okay. Still doesn't work. And why? So I have a controller. It does a get, return published, or maybe not. I'll just do dump published. Anyways, it is coming as blank, so I don't think it's going to matter any which ways. Yeah, it's completely empty. And am I doing something wrong with the filter? Let me quickly see the Laravel documentation. com/docs. So we are in the documentation, and collection is something which I'm interested in. Or rather the filter. I should have directly gone to filter available methods. Filter is here. Function return this. Okay. I got it. So I think what is happening is, first of all, unpublished, it should be 0. Let's keep it to this and let's see now. Okay, so that's a problem. I had a boolean, but still it is treating that as a string. Can I type hint to boolean? Laravel type hint boolean. Is that even possible? Laravel type hint. No. Maybe eloquent cast as boolean, not boolean but boolean. Eloquent cast boolean. Do we have anything here? Cast parameters. Okay. Castable. No. Let me search for boolean then. Okay. What does it say? Attribute casting. Attribute casting provides functionality similar to access and mutators without requiring you to define an additional method. Okay. The $cast property should be an array where the key is the name of the attribute and the value is the type. Okay, that makes sense. So protected casts, and exactly that's what I wanted. I knew it was there somewhere. Couldn't exactly remember. But yeah, this is going to be helpful. Is active is a boolean. So now I think I can do a triple equal to. Let me see. No, it is still not working, and that is not good. What mistake am I making? Let me see. Course all to array, and then it's coming as true or false. Okay. Will this work? I think it's type hinting to something else. So, yeah. Now this is working. So this one will be like so. Yeah. So if it is true, if this is true, then it goes into publish. Otherwise, it goes into unpublished. I'm not sure if I can break it down. If you know something about it, do mention in the comments. But for now, I'll go with this. But what I'm doing primarily is, see, this was wrong because I had the wrong condition. But if I now do publish as true and unpublished as false, so that's being tested by my API, and I should also have these counts, which will mean now the test is passing. So the basic API is done. Correct? What else should I be trying to do over here? Yeah, I think that's about it. So the API is ready, and now let's look at how I can list the videos on a page where I can see my courses basically. So after the API for my courses, let's look at how we have this code to show them on the courses page. So I made some changes. So first of all, I slimmed down the column over here for this particular form because I thought it is not going to be very big and hence it doesn't make too much sense. And in the menu, obviously, I have now my courses. So inside my courses, I can see these two things. Okay. So let's go to a page. We have inside pages, course add index.tsx. Now, because we divided a few things, I made the h1 in a different, kind of a row. And then we have our two columns. One is a 4-column layout for the form, and then we have a 7-column layout where we are listing the course, and we have an offset. Now the course list is the component which is here to render the data. So let's go over there. The reason I am doing like this is so that this functional component, right, it acts like a wrapper. However, the individual components know how to get their data and how to behave once they get that particular data. Otherwise, what can happen is if we have some change in this functional component, it will result in all child components to re-render. Okay, so which means, for example, if for some reason a component changes over here, and if that is resulting in a change in here, then the entire thing re-renders itself, right? Which is not very good. Whereas if I am doing an add over here, and then this particular thing just re-renders itself. So that being the idea. Okay. All right. So here we are. This is the list component. So inside the list component, okay, this was my trial. So we have two state variables. One is published and the other one is unpublished. Okay. Now, I'm using the use effect hook so that I can call this function to fetch information when the component is rendered. Okay. What this function does is, obviously I had to do it like this because inside use effect you cannot have async functions, right? You cannot do something like this, and you can't do an async like this. Okay, so what the idea is you call that particular function inside your use effect hook, and that function is an async function. So this is making an API call through the course service to get my courses. That is the API which we just created. Okay. If you look at the code, this is the URL where we are fetching my courses. This is the course which the user will get, the logged in user will get. Okay. So the service was called. From the service, I got data because we have data.data. So I got that. Okay. And then what I have done is in the API, let's look at the API. If you remember, we have two keys. One is published and the second one is unpublished, correct? So what we are doing here is from the data inside set published, we are pushing the published data. Oh, no, this is correct. I think this is correct, but maybe what I can do is dot data, and let me see if I get published, comma, maybe unpublished. That's a little more readable. Let me see. I hope things are not breaking over here. Refresh. Yeah. So yes, I destructured my data like this. I have updated my state, and now how is the component structured? So I have a check over here that if my length of unpublished is greater than 0, only then you start rendering this part of the component. Now I have, as you saw, this is my course list. Okay. And inside course list, I have a course item that is being mapped. So let me open that up. This has the ULLI, the LI of, the bootstraps list group thingy. Okay. You can see that this is a list group item. Okay. And my course list is actually a list group, and it is a numbered list group. Okay. So this is the OL and this is the LI, which is coming as a course item, and I'm passing the course over here. So inside this component, okay, we have props. We have said that, I'm expecting course, which is of type iCourse. I have an interface which defines the data type. It just is my habit. I define these so that it is easy to work with them. Okay, so this is my component. This is pretty dumb right now. It gets the data, it prints the course name, the description, and the student count. And that's why I can see the course name, the description, and the student count over here. Now we are only having 2 unpublished courses. If I change my API, let's just say we had 2 unpublished courses, right? So if I send those 2 unpublished courses in published as well, and if I refresh this page, you can see both are coming over here, right? So that's how I was able to get this list of courses ready here after the API was done. So thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, do click on the thumbs up icon and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.